Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now this time I'm going to rank one of my favourite bands of all time, and in the early 80s I was obsessed by them, the very early 80s, and that is The Jam. Now The Jam have released 6 studio albums between 1977 and 1982, and whenever they broke up it broke my heart. Now I will admit I was late getting into The Jam. It was around 1981 with the Funeral Pyre single was actually the first new Jam single I bought, but I did know a few others like All Around the World, Eating Rifles, Going Underground Start, and That's Entertainment, which was actually an import single which did relatively well. Now, the Jam consisted of Paul Weller, who was the chief songwriter, and the lead vocalist, Bruce Foxton on bass, and he wrote a few songs as well, not that many, and Rick Buckler on drums. Now, the 6 albums are all very good. There's not a bad album there at all. Obviously some are better than others. At worst the albums are very good, and at best they're absolutely brilliant. So, coming in at number 6 for me, and it's always a toss up between this and number 5, and I did the usual. I listened to them all on the way to work and back, and I have to put this time at number 6. And it's their second album from 1977, This Is the Modern World. Now this has got some absolutely classic Jam songs on it. For example, The Modern World itself, which was the single. Standards is a brilliant mod number. Life from a Window, which is slightly more acoustic-y, and it's got a bit of a psychedelic feel to it, which is really good. The Combine, which I think is another great song, and I actually like the way they reference Ina Sharples from Coronation Street. And the other great one is I Need You for Someone, which is very Beatlesque, but it's a really good song. You know, other decent songs are Here Comes the Weekend, Tonight at Noon, and London Girl. Now London Girl it can get a little bit sickening, and it's a bit sort of repetitive in the chorus. But a couple of dodgy ones on this album. For example, London Traffic, written by Bruce Foxton, is not very good at all. Don't Tell Him You're Seeing, another Bruce Foxton song, is good musically, but it's a bit of a mess. And In the Street Today, which is just really repetitive, it's alright. That was a Paul Weller, David Waller song, and they do a decent version of Wilson Pickett's In the Midnight Hour. So yeah, it's a decent follow-up. It got slated, and most people put this at the bottom anyway, but I actually do like it. It's better than what a lot of people think, but it's still my number 6. Okay, at number 5, and I thought this was going to be my number 6 until I played them all over again, and I enjoyed this a lot more. And this is The Gift from 1982. It's their last album, and this again has some absolute stonewall classic Jam songs on it, but there's a couple of dodgy ones as well. Now I can't see the back of this, so I'm going by memory here, and I don't want to take this out of the paper bag that it came with, because it's actually quite brittle. But you have A Town Called Malice on this, which was a big hit single, #1 hit, and its double A side Precious. Ghosts is absolutely brilliant. Running on the Spot is a really good Jam song, and I do like the calypso flavoured The Planner's Dream Goes Wrong. Now Happy Together is a decent enough opener. It's not fantastic. And Trans Global Express, which finishes side 1, I actually do quite like it, but Paul Weller's vocals are so muffled in it you haven't got a clue what he's singing. But the song that closes side 2 is The Gift, and I just don't like it. I think it's an attempt to be a catchy song, and it just doesn't work. The other couple of songs off this is Carnation, which is a fan's favourite. I'm beginning to like it a lot more than I used to, and of course Just Two is a 5 O'Clock Hero, which was another hit single, a top 10 hit, and it was an imported single from Holland. So yeah, it's a decent way to finish, but it still falls at my number 5. So that's The Gift from 1982. So I'll put in a picture of the actual sleeve here now. Okay, at number 4, and it is their debut, In the City from 1977, and the one word I would use to describe this is energy. It is so full of energy. Maybe some of the songs aren't as good as the following albums, but still I absolutely love this. It opens up with Art School, which is like a punk classic. You get the cover of Slow Down by Larry Williams. I think it's really, really good, and it beats the Beatles version for me any day. I Got By in Time is a very Motown influenced number, and I could have seen the Supremes singing that. Non-Stop Dancing is another Motown-y type number. Sounds from the Street sounds like The Who from around the time of A Quick One, especially things like So Sad About Us. Away From the Numbers is probably the most critically acclaimed song on this, which I think it is brilliant. Now most of these songs are about 2.5 minutes long. Away From the Numbers just hits over 4 minutes. The only issue I have with it is that the cymbal crashing is too high in the mix, and I think that could have been sort of toned down a little bit. In the City itself, absolutely brilliant debut single with that fantastic descending riff, which was also used for Holidays in the Sun by the Sex Pistols. Time for Truth I think is one of my favourites, and I actually like the F-bomb in it. And Taking My Love, the B-side, is a great wee rock and roll type number, and I've Changed My Address is great. Batman Theme, which is another Who influence because they did it on an EP, is a little bit pointless, but overall I think this is a really, really good album, and it is my number 4. So 3, 2 and 1 I think are a step up, and my number 3 is from 1980, and it's Sound Effects. Now this is the one with the hit single Start on it, although this version is slightly different. It's slightly a little bit longer, and there's a little bit of a horn section in it as well, but this is almost like their own Revolver, because it's so varied in styles. It starts off with Pretty Green, which has got that really good bass line from Bruce Foxton. Monday is a gorgeous ballad, really is, with really good guitar work, rhythm guitar work by Paul Weller. But I'm Different Now is about 1 minute and 50 seconds of sheer brilliance. Set the House Ablaze is very gothic and atmospheric, but a really good chorus. And That's Entertainment, which was the single that was imported from, I think it was Holland, which got the top 30, is regarded as one of their classics. Dreamtime I think goes back a little bit to the Setting Sun sound, but it's really good, and Man in the Corner Shop is so sing-along. Music for the Last Couple, which most people don't like, I really do. It's mostly instrumental with a little bit of a chorus refrain. Boy About Town is a mod classic, and Scrape Away is very moody. It's a really strong album. It's a lot of people's favourite Jam album, but for me it still falls at number 3, but it's still excellent. Okay, my number 2, it is from 1979, and it is Setting Suns, and this is the one with Eaton Rifles on it, which was a top 3 hit for them, their first really big hit. Girl on the Phone, excellent opener going into the best song on the album, Thick as Thieves, brilliant. Private Hell races along beautifully, and Little Boy Soldiers is sort of split into a couple of different sections, and it goes into like an acoustic part, which I think is really good, and then the very catchy Wasteland finishes off side 1. Burning Sky is another classic Jam song, and then we get Bruce Foxton's best song, Smithers Jones, but unfortunately the version on this is a full orchestrated version. The original band version was the B-side of When You're Young, and I think it would have fit better than the orchestral version. Saturday's Kids was a single in other parts of the world, and you get Eaton Rifles, brilliant song with that chorus, fantastic, and then Heatwave, cover of the old Motown song, which is very good. So 1979, Setting Suns is my number 2. Which means my favourite Jam album is from 1978, and it is All Mod Cons. Now there's not a lot of difference between Setting Suns and All Mod Cons. I could switch it in any other day. This is the one with A Bomb in Water Street and David Watts, the double A side, and the fantastic Down in the Tube Station at Midnight, which is a slightly different ending to the single version. The single version fades out. This one comes to an abrupt halt, and then you hear the sound of the train coming in again, and then the music starts, and then it fades away as the train moves on. But it opens up with all mod cons, and To Be Someone, Didn't We Have a Nice Time, which is the best opener in any Jam album. Fantastic. Mr. Clean's really good, brilliant song. We have English Rose, which is not credited on the back of the album, but it's like an acoustic ballad, and it is excellent. And In the Crowd, another brilliant, almost psychedelic song by the Jam, and it's extended. It goes into like this psychedelic haze near the end. Billy Hunt's not a bad track, really good guitar work, and It's Too Bad is like their Beatlesque song. Fly is another ballad, and The Place I Love, I think the riffing on that is absolutely brilliant. This was made whenever Paul Weller was really struggling. He had writer's block, and Bruce Foxton tried to help out in early '79 because he wrote the single News of the World, which is not a bad song. One of its B-sides, Innocent Man, which is rubbish, and then another track which was the B-side of Down in the Tube Station at Midnight, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was rubbish as well. So he tried his best, but it all came together for Paul, and I think he produced the Jam's best album. So that's my number one, All Mod Cons from 1978. Okay, with regards to compilations, vinyl compilations, the best one to get is the 1983 album Snap, and this is all the hit singles on it, from In the City to Beat Surrender. However, the version of That's Entertainment's not the single stroke album version. It's like a demo. I prefer the original. It's a pity it's not on it, but you do get some really good B-sides as well. For example, you get, well, obviously you get Precious because it was a double A side, and you get The Butterfly Collector and Smithers Jones. Butterfly Collector is the B-side of Strange Town. Some really good LP tracks like Mr. Clean, Billy Hunt, Thick as Thieves, and also The Dreams of Children, which was supposedly a double A side with Going Underground, but I still say that it was a B side, and Man in the Corner Shop, which was on Sound Effects. So this is really good, and if you can seek out original copies, there's a free 7-inch live 7-inch single given away with this. So that's the Jam Snap double LP. And the last one in their time, or just shortly after they split up, was a live album called Dig the New Breed, which is okay. It's a contract filler, and you do get a nice version of Going Underground on this. There is one sort of new song, cover of Big Bird, which is not that good anyway, but this is not like a concert. This is more like live performances throughout their career. There's a better live album called Live Jam, which I'll show now. That's the one to get, and it was released actually on vinyl, but it's more or less impossible to get. And the other one I would recommend is Extras, which was an album that came out in 1992 or 93. So I have that on CD along with Live Jam, but I can't find them. They're somewhere hidden. And then finally there's a box set called Direction, Reaction, Creation, which can't find either, which is a 5 CD set, and or maybe it's a 6 CD set, but there's one disc of all unreleased material, which is worth getting. So yeah, I love the Jam, still love the Jam, and I don't think Paul Weller's ever bettered that group. So that's me for now. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.